あ、あるとマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。
To my motherfucking man, 50 grand, the alcoholic man, inject a tall can in his bloodstream if he can. Biggie Smalls, the 50 stroker, MC provoker, chocolate tie smoker, huh? I like to max and Maximas and Acuras. Your girl butt cheeks, I'm smacking, huh? The raw rapper, spine snapper with the little, cause on my lap, a shot, the but I ain't your fucking comforter. And if I ever fall in love, I bet I'm fucking her. Ask the if I didn't choke her. If she try to front, then I drop the Chucky Booker on.
Episode 49 of the Virtual Pros podcast. What's up, Vertbag Universe? It's Al, aka Henny Omega, aka the Bandman, aka Bougie Nagata, aka Two Phone Scorpio, aka Playboy Hardy. And with me, one half of the Holy Scheming Army, one half of Blemolition, one half of the Heavenly Thotties, my main oos, Mike.
Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? It is Mike, a.k.a. Dr. Swagner Jr., a.k.a. Crack Saber Jr., a.k.a. Sticky Fuji, a.k.a. Tim Tam Bigelow, a.k.a. Kilo Santana.
Today's topic, 3 things we like about the WWE. Both these guys send their posy vibes to the house that Vince built. Hit us on Instagram and Twitter at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud, hit that heart, you know I like it. Subscribe to us on iTunes, leave a review, and if you haven't already, download that bloody disgusting app. Have that entire VRTL discography in the palm of your hands. Also, just keep adding your AKAs at their Twitter handle. I heard they like it. And if you want to
do that shit,
do that shit right now. Pause the episode and just send them like really confusing names. And if you want to participate, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. Mike, we got some emails. Am I starting off?
Yes, sure. I'm right on time as usual. This is from Jay. It's titled Ultimo Dragon in the U.S. because we were talking about Ultimo Dragon in the U.S. last episode.
Yep.
I've read and heard that he'll only work in the U.S. if he likes his opponent or the promoter, which is apparently a very, very short and exclusive list. He did a random show in Detroit in 2006, and it was rumored that he insisted his opponent be Curryman and not Curryman's alleged alter ego. And yeah, the All Japan Junior title match against Tajiri is long, boring, and 20 years too late. Thanks again, Jay, aka Milano Cookies AT. That's a good one.
That's good to know, but like, I feel like I've only seen Ultimo Dragon like 3 times in America in the past 10 years, so he must not like a lot of promoters, or he must not like his choice of opponents.
Yeah, I saw that. Again, somebody showed me the flyer to the one that he's doing in Pennsylvania, but it's like Keystone Wrestling or just some like random wrestling. And like, I mean, it's not impossible for me to get there, but there's really nothing else going on that card to make me want to go there. Like, I'm pretty sure he's fighting somebody just named like Son of Ultimo Dragon or just like some other or Black Ultimo Dragon. He's just fighting some like nobody. So there's no reason for me to go.
Next up is from Totally Goof. It's a weird way to spell it. It's titled Wrestling Crowds. They write in, hello, Al and Mike. The heat wave we've got going on here in California is bullshit, and I've run out of beer. So here's a question. People always ask what the worst, most embarrassing wrestling crowds were at a show. I'd like to ask what wrestling show you attended had the best crowd. For me, it was probably NXT San Jose 2016. I was right up near the entrance ramp with my friends, well wavy, in a stadium that was mostly families and drunk college kids who just wanted to have a good time. We were sharing a row with some super wrestle bro fan dude and his girlfriend who was totally not into it. But as the night went on and the beers got passed around, the girlfriend started getting more and more invested in the show. By the time Asuka versus Ember Moon happened, we were all losing our shit, screaming, Asuka my queen, slay bitch slay, in the most white girl wasted voices possible, while hollering about how good her hair and outfit was. Good times. Keep on killing it. Tofu. It's too hot out for AKAs, but P.S. Al, did your waitress at brunch ask you about women's wrestling? I was at that show, Totally Goff. And, I was pretty fucked up too, and that was actually a pretty good crowd. friend of the show, David Meltzer, he was in attendance, and I saw him like with a line out the door, with people that wanted to get his autograph. But, I do recall that being a pretty good show. I think the best match on that card was, what's that dude that plays the fake Prince?
Oh,
Patrick, I'm talking about, right?
The purple people eater, yeah.
Yeah, the purple people eater wrestled, also a friend of the show, Oni Lorcan, and they kind of tore it up. Also, I don't know if Mike has this as a topic, but I haven't cashed in on my Summer Shame yet, so.
Yeah, you're a real piece of shit, man. I can't believe you. What?
Best crowd though? AAW this year was pretty fun. That was a good crowd.
That's pretty good. I feel like the people in front of us were getting real annoyed with us, so I wanted to call them the best. Cause I think my ideal crowd is a crowd where people don't get annoyed with me. I've said it before, but like every lucha show I've been to here, it's just amazing. All the kids getting super into it, flipping off the wrestlers, calling them asshole and like all the other Spanish swear words. Yeah. It's, and you know, it's no bullshit. There's no nerds there. We're like, listener Welf and listener Daniel went, last weekend. I couldn't make it. I had to go out of town, but they're saying it's creeping. There's more and more actual white people showing up, but it's still like probably under 20. So there's not a lot of nerds there to ruin your time. It's a lot of fun. And Al is a piece of shit for, it's been over 2 weeks and he still hasn't.
Do you have this as a 2-man Scrabble topic or no?
I didn't.
Okay. So, listen, I haven't had a good opportunity to wear that shirt. Like, I haven't been out and about. Like, don't you people want me to get asked about it? Unless you really want me to take a photo of me at the Korean market where no one will give a shit, I'll do it. But I remember last time I fucking put some effort into it, people were just like, oh, no one was there in Hawaii at a very fucking famous tourist destination. So, you know, people just can't be satisfied. So, you know, art takes time. Just wait. It'll happen.
I hope so. Next up is from listener Lee. It's just question. Hi guys, I have a question. He fucked up, not me guys. Hi guys, I have a question and I want you to shoot here. Don't give me no answer just to pop the boys in the back. How long is it until Jinder Mahal comes out as a trans lady? Then the Singh brothers announce they are not brothers at all, but lovers. Then all three come clean and admit to being in a polyamorous relationship, then turns them all face, and when a heel is cutting a promo on Mahal, the Singh brothers utter the classic catchphrase in unison, don't assume my gender. Current edging and forward thinking, I can see the merch sales already. Much love, guys. Lee, aka Balls Deep Mahoney. Little pro tip about joke telling, Lee. That was a way too long setup for not really a good payoff. Just use the Twitter rule. If you can't tell a joke within 140 characters, don't even bother these days because no one cares. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I will say, did you watch SmackDown yesterday?
I did watch some of it. Are you talking about the Jinder Nakamura segment?
Yeah, they set it up where Jinder comes out and he's showing the photos of Nakamura on the Titantron, and I was rubbing my hands together because I thought they were gonna do my favorite horrible WWE thing. Talking about our favorite things at WWE. My favorite actual horrible thing that I hate is when they do Photoshop jokes, because I think that is like the lamest shit ever. But they didn't do Photoshop. They just made fun of Shinsuke Nakamura for being Asian. And then, but then like Jinder Mahal turned it around and he was like, you know, this is what's going to happen if you become champion. All these fucking shitty Americans are just going to make fun of you. And I thought that was like a really progressive promo. And like, it was just like a part of the show and it just like went on. And I don't know. I thought that was like a really amazing moment. So, good for you, Jinder. I'm on your side now.
Yeah, Lee, I'm going to insert some cricket noises here, in post-production. Don't you worry about it. Mike, should we talk about the next email or no? Should we get to it later? We'll get to it later.
Okay, yeah.
Next up is from Ed209, titled Steamboat versus Tiger Mask. What's up, Marks? How that podcasting money coming about? Pretty good. Bet y'all mofos living that life to the fullest with your yacht boats and lobster rolls every day. You bastards. Loan me a 20, you bastards. Anyway, wanted to chime in about an old Graps match between Steamboat and Tiger Mask. Y'all seen this shit? That can't be Tiger Mask because dude is 50 pounds overweight and a lot slower. I think it might be the old Sawyer. Steamboat barely got any offense in. What the fuck? This can't be the same badass Tiger Mask against Dynamite Kid, right? Now that mofo was fast as fuck. So yeah, what'd you think of that match? Oh, and it's Halloween season. Can you guys help me build a Great Muta costume? What do I need? Face paint and paint my tongue green and shit? Black karate pants? See you at the next virtual meetup. Y'all smoke? Cause you're gonna. That's a threat.
Yeah.
I've seen this match, but I don't really remember anything about it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever even, I thought that you just made this up. I've never heard of it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's, I would assume it would have to be the same Tiger Mask, but maybe not. I don't know.
Also, things that you need for a Great Muta costume. I don't think Great Muta painted his tongue, Ed. You just gotta put some food dye in your mouth, and it should work out like that.
Yeah. Next up is from listener James or Jimmy. It's titled Dress Code. He says, "Hey dudes, what do you wear to wrestling shows when you want to flex on nerds? Do you mix up your attire based on the type of crowd expected? Like sometimes your threads will say, 'I'm like you, but better.' And other times they'll say, 'I'm absolutely nothing like any of you.' Related to this, do you think wrestling events should have a dress code for fans? Love Jemmy, aka the Power Bomber Man Poser, aka the illegit boss, aka D-Beat of the Beaujeron, aka Fluorescent Light Tube Way Army, aka Rick's Flair." A lot of those I don't know. I probably tripped over. I'm sorry. I don't have I just wear whatever. I don't really try. Although like I said in the last episode, I learned my lesson, and I don't think I'll ever be wearing any more white shirts to wrestling if there's a chance of me getting blood on them, because that wasn't cool. So I'm gonna stop doing that. I try not to stand out too much anywhere I go, because I think that's kind of pointless, because I don't want people talking to me. And so yeah, I just wear whatever.
I don't know, Mike. You kind of pull out some heat when you go to watch wrestling shows. I've seen you with that Mr. Pogo t-shirt. You can't be fronting.
Well, I'm gonna wear wrestling shirts, but that's because I don't wear them I hardly ever wear them in normal everyday life. Sometimes, but I'll wear that FMW America shirt on 4th of July if I'm going to a 4th of July party, because it's outside of my John Cena the Marine shirt, which is in storage. It's my most patriotic shirt, so.
Yeah, I'll definitely make it a point to shit on people. If my shirt isn't 97 or older, I feel like I'm kind of missing out. Well, if I do go to a Raw or a house show, I have an ECW Hardcore Cafe shirt that I'll pull out. No one gives this shit, but it always makes me feel a little better. Do I think wrestling events should have a dress code? No, but I do think you should wash your shirts.
Yeah.
That's always appreciated. Next email is from Brian. Thoughts on throwing cash into the ring? Hey guys, I gotta get your take on something that's been bugging me. I live in Austin and have rolled my eyes at the fans here at independent shows who make pitiful attempts at covering wrestlers from Japan and streamers. Lately though, the mutants at Wrestle Circus have taken to copying the Lucha Libre tradition of throwing cash and coins in the ring after a match. I know that they're not the first fan base to do this, but it's the first promotion I've been to and seen firsthand. This is fucking weird, right? I'm not banging a drum claiming cultural appropriation, but it seems so fucking condescending to throw some wadded up singles at a guy after his match. I don't get this. Set me straight on it. I thought Wrestle Circus, you would just log on to Twitch and then pay him with PayPal.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? That's pretty nice. I mean, the only time I've seen this and participated was when Mike and I went to AAW, and I forgot what music video it was, but there was a clip of some dude throwing a wadded one at a stripper, and she got super sad. But I don't think that's the same as this. Wrestlers, give them your money. They deserve it. I don't know if it's degrading, but how else am I supposed to get that money to you besides buying a t-shirt? It's like a tip. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's degrading, and yeah, it happened there. I think it happened. I don't know if it happened in every single lucha show I've been to, but it's happened at least there. But then I started to think maybe Mexican wrestlers just made this up. Maybe because I obviously haven't seen that many lucha matches from Mexico, but I've seen enough where I've never seen anybody actually throw money into the ring. So I'm thinking Mexican wrestlers just made this up when they came to America, and they're like, yeah, there's this ancient tradition where you guys give us more money while we wrestle. And cause, I've never seen it otherwise. I'm fine with it. I wouldn't do it every match or anything.
Yeah.
I think it's better than throwing streamers at every single fucking match, that's for sure. But, yeah, I think I've tried it like a couple times to throw money in there and it just failed. Like it just bounced off like somewhere else. So that was my own stupid, dumb thing.
Some inside information. The reason why Japanese streamers look so aesthetic is because they like fucking take them apart and tie them even tighter and then like bring them to the show. So like when they throw them, it explodes. There's like a 13-minute video, like tutorial that I was going to put on the mixtape, but I thought Mike would get really mad about watching it. So I did it. Maybe sometime soon.
Next up is from listener Dane. Subject is who would ya? Says, what's up, dudes? Figured I haven't emailed in a while. I finally got my shirts from the robber. They're in regular rotation. My question is, Mike, if you could smoke a cigarette with any wrestler, alive or not, who would it be? And Al, if you could upgrade anyone's shoe game in wrestling, who would it be? Awesome podcast as always. Dane, aka Marlboro Man, Randy Smokage. I would probably say Bobby Heenan for me. I mean, not in his current state, but like in his more, preserved state from years ago. I'd probably smoke a cigarette with him. Or Gorilla Monsoon seems like somebody that's probably cool to smoke a cigarette with too. It's one of those like old wrestlers that ate chewing tobacco, like Stan Hansen or something, probably be pretty cool too.
If I could upgrade anyone's shoe game. So listener and friend of the show, Brian, aka Muda Scale, and I, we recently noticed that Champ Sports has been seeding Sasha Banks. The thing is that they're not giving her very good kicks. Like DJ Khaled gets like fucking like the $3,000 joints from Nike. And so like, it seems like she gets kind of like the shoes that don't sell. She kind of deserves better. She should get better kicks. And Sasha, if you're listening, I would be glad to help you out. Next email is from Greg, titled Evolve. What's up, virtual bros? I need your thoughts on Evolve running a show in a middle school gym in East Haven, Connecticut. I could walk to this place and that seems bizarre to me. How weird is that shit? Also, Mike, are you going? I'm trying to get a certain someone to pull the "Do you know who we are" card to get in for free. Much love, Greg. Is that weird? I don't know. I wish I could walk to wrestling. It's either me having to travel across the country for it or having to pay $40 for a lift so I can get wavy. I would walk to a wrestling show any day if I could.
Yeah, I don't know. Evolve is weird because they always seem to get weird venues. Like, obviously, when they run venues, they run shows here, they're usually in the same place, and it's like, it's a club, so it's like kind of a normal thing, but anytime I see them run shows outside of here, it's always in some weird venue and some, like, even in Maryland, they don't do it in Baltimore, they do it in some place called Joppa. I don't know what the fuck that is. When they do Florida, they do it in a place called Ybor City. I don't know what that is. Like, it's always some weird place and not like, I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know what the deal is behind it. So, I mean, East Haven's near New Haven, so that's at least like pretty much parallel to another city. So it's not too bad, but yeah, I guess it's only weird in the way that this like Evolve is supposed to be like one rung under NXT sort of. And, they sure run weird venues for something that's one rung under NXT. And, I don't think I'm going because it's on a Sunday, but maybe we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Yeah. Next and last, I believe, yes, is from David. It is Shade. Dear Virtual Pros, I listened to the shoot interview from the guys behind Wrestling with Words explaining why their site was shut down and wanted to get your opinions. One, what are your opinions on the idea of people who write about, discuss wrestling as a hobby, recording 2-hour podcasts, outlining their internal admin drama and discussing their 18-month tenure as if it was 90s All Japan? 2, how many people do you think will subscribe to their new gamer channel, listen to this 2-hour podcast about running a wrestling website with 0 game content, and then immediately unsubscribe? 3, if Virtual Pros have a dramatic split and take down all your episodes on a whim, which one of you is more likely to shoot on a non-wrestling podcast? Much love, Taka Michinoklu, aka Victor Tangiv, aka Akira Blozawa, aka Gary Stridham. Wow. That's a deep cut. So me and Al were talking about this email. We singled this email out before we even did this podcast, because we also got another email that we alluded to earlier. Last episode, somebody wrote in and wanted us to talk about a man named Jim from Virginia that is a Wrestling Observer call-in. And we had some saucy opinions about him. Mostly me. I'm not going to put this on Al. It's mostly me because I'm the loudmouth. And Jim actually emailed us. We're only not reading it, not because we're cowards or anything, because I would fucking read it. I don't care. I just don't know if he wants us to read it. Like, it's kind of written in a way as if he was expecting us to read it on air, but I don't know for sure. So I'm not going to be a dick and read it if he didn't want us to. I don't know how I don't know if he's a listener to the show or if there's snitches out there that just were like, oh, we're going to start some shit. But if Jim listens, thanks for listening, Jim. That's, like we said on that episode, it's like having a celebrity, like a wrestling fan celebrity listen to our show. I will say the part of his email I will read is that he says he does a podcast called Top Rope Radio. That's on Thursday nights, 7 to 9. I don't know how you find that. Oh, it's called 30 Minutes with Big Jim. I guess is his podcast if you want to check that out. But yeah, you know, I thought it was pretty cool of him to write and be like, listen, assholes. He didn't say listen, assholes, but he was like, listen, I'm not a creep. And he gave us like his background. So that was cool of him because most people wouldn't do that shit. So, big ups to Jim. But anyways, my point is, I don't think we're going to participate in this fucking shit where you guys write in and are like, oh, how do you feel about this guy? Like, we'll just tell you how we feel about that guy if he comes up in our regular conversations. Like, I know you guys just want to hear us talk shit because you think it's funny. But yeah, like, I think we're making a conscious effort from staring away from that. Cause, I think we both talk enough shit, especially on Twitter. If you want all this shit talking, just go to the Twitter. Cause I will talk shit all day on Twitter because I just like, I look at Twitter when I'm bored and I just want to be upset. And like, I just want to fucking start shit and just be mad at somebody. But this podcast, like, we are on like a network now, and I'm trying to shy away from just talking shit about random people who can't defend themselves. So, I mean, feel free if you have problems with somebody, write in an email, and we'll read it aloud. I will say I know some of those Wrestling with Words guys follow us on Twitter. I have no idea if they listen to the show. I had no idea that they broke up or whatever the fuck happened. I do know that they're young kids though, and like, I'm like, all I'll say is I'm very glad that I was too old. I'm too old that all of my past teen kid failures are not on the internet. And I'm so fucking glad. And if I were to teach kids any lesson, it would be not to put all your shit on the internet. I know like you've grown up in a world without not having internet, but not everything has to be on the internet, man. Not all of your opinions, not all of your feelings, not all of your art. Like, you don't need to put everything on the internet. You gotta keep some shit inside of you sometimes. Al, do you have anything to add?
Co-sign everything, but Dave, did you get fucking fired from WWW, man? You alright? I will answer your last question though. If we did have a dramatic split, I am probably 100% the one to shoot on Mike. No problem. What do you think, Mike? For sure, I'd be like, I'll tell the entire story. No problem.
I know I have a loud mouth and I say a lot of stuff sometimes maybe I regret, like, in passing, but I have never, like, I learned at a very young age before the internet, like, about getting caught doing bad stuff, about, like, talking shit and stuff like that. I got caught, like, in high school doing some shit I shouldn't have, and it taught me at, like, a very young age that, if you don't want shit out there, then don't put it out there. So even when I talk shit, I don't care if people hear it, but like I do keep a lot of stuff to myself that I would never say in a public forum, and I'm very aware of that. And so I would probably not shoot on Al, but I would probably maybe be entertaining about Al on a show, but I probably wouldn't say anything I wouldn't say to his face on a podcast. So I guess that's sort of shooting.
Lastly, Jim from VA, if you want to talk about women's wrestling with me, let's talk about it, dude. Manami Toyota, Toshio Yamada. I can tell you about my time at Bull Nakano's bar. I'm down, Jim. If you listen, thank you.
Yeah, I will say this. I will shoot and talk some shit right now. There are some other fucking podcasters out there that claim to be women's wrestling experts that don't jack shit about it, that know less about me. I just started watching it like a year and a half ago. Jim is a real one though. He knows about that shit. So he's definitely better off than some of these creeps.
We salute you, Jim. No problem. We'll get into two-man scramble now. I have one softball and two sort of real topics. First, I just wanted to gloat that I personally came up on a 1994 Super J-Cup program, So what's up to all my fucking haters out there on Instagram? I'll be sure to post those scans as soon as possible. Once that bad boy comes in, hit us on IG at VRTL Pros and stay tuned for that. I got the poster. I got a Deadstock shirt. I'm so fucking gross right now with the collection. Up next, Mae Young Classic. Overall thoughts?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I don't think there wasn't anything in there that I was like, my mind was blown by or anything, but I thought overall it was good. Like, I didn't mind watching it. I honestly didn't watch the semifinals because I already knew who was going to the finals and I just didn't have time to watch it, but I watched everything else. And, yeah, I mean, like, I thought, like I said last episode, like I was familiar with Kimberly, aka Abby Lath, before this, but I thought she really shined. Everybody else that I knew was good, like Viper's good. Like we already know that because we're smart. So like, but you know, I thought she did really good. There's a spot where she like went on the top rope and she was like stumbling and bumbling. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But she did it. It was pretty cool. Yeah, everybody, I thought Shayna was great. I thought all the people that were great. And all the people that I was unaware of, I could probably keep being unaware of. So yeah.
So there wasn't someone that you were like formerly unaware of that you walked away with pretty impressed?
No, I mean, like I said, I was more, I'm like Bianca Belair was cool, but I mean, I don't know. I've seen her on NXT. I just haven't really paid attention. Like I said, I thought like everything that Kimberly did was great. I thought she had all great matches. Yeah, I don't think there was anybody I wasn't like previously unaware of that, because honestly, like everybody made it past the second round. Or everybody made it past the first round and pretty aware of already. Yeah. They weren't any like deep cuts at that point.
I was pretty hyped about the overall event. Going into the finals, I think everyone and their mom had Shayna Baeszler winning because they thought it progressed the 4 horsewomen thing. But it kind of didn't make sense to me. So when Kairi won, I didn't think it was a huge surprise because like she's the only one that signed officially, but I thought that match was a banger, but I do think that the best match that she had in that entire tournament was with Bianca Belair. That Bianca Belair, man, she's the next Jun Akiyama, super rookie. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, well, that is one thing I will say is that the whole time I did think Kairi was going to win, but then like, I think like an hour before it started, Triple H posted the Shayna Baeszler just signed thing, and I was like, oh, maybe she's not going to win, but she obviously still won. Spoiler alert.
As an editor's note here, anyone that says Kairi and waifu in the same breath, just log off and play Kingdom Hearts or something. Like, do you think she's gonna see that and she's gonna be like, yeah, man, he watches anime, I'm down. It's not gonna happen.
I know, you guys are out there doing the Kairi Sane fan art and all that. Or I should say Kylie, like, Lita says. Kylie, fan art and all that stuff. You're big fans. Just subscribe to the Stardom and please watch the video where she's trying to buy truffles from that store in LA. Cause like, that's all I think about. I'm like, she's come so far. Like, I just like see her and I'm just like, it melts my heart. I'm just like, I gotta rewatch that video myself because I just fucking love that video so much.
Have you seen the video of her in Hong Kong?
I don't know if I saw that one. I'll check that one out too.
You should watch it. It's very athletic.
Stardom really needs to, I know like they did that survey and we talked about it, about why they can't do like full streaming cards, but that's what really keeps me from watching it more. Cause like, I don't want to get up and fucking turn on a new video every 10 seconds, but
I will say, okay.
No, it was nothing.
I will say that, the 5-star GP started. It's their version of the G1 and, Kagetsu versus Yoko Bito. Really, really good match. My last 2-man scramble topic. This is very old news, but, Roman Reigns and John Cena participated in a work shoot a couple weeks ago. Do you have any personal favorite work shoot moments?
I mean, obviously CM Punk Pipe Bomb is up there. This would probably make a better like main segment topic because I think I would need a minute to think. That shit was real cringy, man. Like, it was kind of cool, but it was also super cringy in a way too. Like, because for a fact it's still scripted and it's just like, I don't know. And then The Miz did it last week too with, what's his fucking face with Enzo.
Enzo, yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's cool that they're trying to integrate that stuff in their like wrestling show, but make it less scripted, I guess, because it comes off real corny. I will say that John Cena referencing Roman Reigns' drug suspensions was some pretty hot fire. I'm trying to think of like what are some other good work shoots that aren't I think there's a Tank Abbott. Didn't Tank Abbott get into one? I can't remember. I think there's
I think most of that video, like he pulls out a knife and he holds it against his neck. I'm not sure if that's a shoot, but it's like one of the most incredible WCW moments of all time.
I remember I don't even know if this was an actual, like, real shit or if this was worked, but I remember, like, in the early days of YouTube, when I think Matt Hardy left, WWF and he was in maybe ROH or something, and he was making, like, real weird videos about, like, wanting to kill himself and shit like that, and I was just like, man, this is real bizarre, but I never found out if that was real or not.
Yeah, going back to the Roman Reigns John Cena thing, yeah, it was like two like role players on Twitter like doing promos on each other. Like when John Cena dropped like, I see you fourth wall, I was like, man. Yeah. And then Roman Reigns was talking about shovels. I don't know, dude. I just wasn't that into it. I know I got people talking. I mean, we're talking about it right now, but like, it was a little cringy. But personally though, since I had the time to think about one, the Vince Russo Hulk Hogan Bash at the Beach 2000 was my favorite work shoot. Because, for one, Vince Russo was wearing a fucking fire Barry Bonds jersey. And I think this was like one of the handful of times they were saying stuff like shit and bullshit. I think Hulk Hogan says bullshit. And, plus Jeff Jarrett, like he technically took 2 L's that night. So all in all, it was like a pretty, tremendous night of pro wrestling, that Bash at the Beach. I might rewatch it tonight. It was really good. That's all I had. Okay.
I'm gonna be upfront with you guys right here. I will say between this and the mixtape segment, this is maybe only a 3-star effort for me for this episode. I don't know what happened to me. I just didn't have it in me this episode. Got a lot of shit going on in real life, but so don't expect that fire that I usually bring. But I will say first topic I have is regarding something we brought up last episode, which Al asked the question if we'd be able to blade, and we were both kind of like hesitant about it. Yeah. And a few of my friends, like Welf and Joe and the thrift store jobber, were giving me shit about it. Like, oh, you pussy, like you couldn't blade. That wasn't a fucking question, man. The question, like anybody else out there, I'm just not talking to you guys. I've already addressed them, but like anybody else out there, the question was, can you blade in the heat of the moment, like during a wrestling match? I can blade myself all day if I'm just fucking sitting here. Like, I'm a man. I could do that, but I'm just like, the idea of just doing it, like somebody like throwing you into a corner, like hitting you over the head in the chair, and they're like, you have 2 seconds to fucking cut your fucking forehead open while you're hiding in a room full of thousands of people and you're sweaty and you're all fucking shitty. I think it would take me a few tries to get that down. So unless you are a person who's done this in a wrestling match, I don't want to hear your fucking mouth.
Look at fucking hard man thrift store jobber and Welp over here.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all like, oh, you could do it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, you can't do it in a fucking, have you done it in a wrestling match? No. So shut up. I don't remember why, I mean, I kind of remember why I wrote this down, but I think I had more to it. But, lately Funaki on his Twitter has been posting pictures of him drinking Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes. And, I don't know what that is all about, but it's fucking weird. So if you want to see Funaki really enjoying pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks, that's something. I think
Did you see the Kyrie interviews where like he's like there's a translator and like he just stands there worthless because Kyrie like I guess has like an okay like command of the English language nowadays.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. He stands there very awkwardly.
Just in case there's an emergency. Yeah. I guess this was sort of about you not really putting your picture up, but not really your celebrity shape picture. I will say I've since that happened, I've become enamored with watching or looking at people wearing AJ Styles gloves in public and just like in any form. So I really regret not buying you a pair of AJ Styles gloves, because even though I don't think that would be as embarrassing as any t-shirt, because like t-shirts are more visible, just the idea of somebody having to wear gloves and like a short sleeve shirt or like something else where gloves don't belong is just like tickling my funny bone like all day lately. So I should have did that. I did have something else about the Mae Young thing. is that everybody on Twitter and the internet has been complaining about the announcing, and it's not bad. I didn't think it was bad at all. I don't know what you people want, man. Like, what's, like, if you think that announcing is bad, then everything is bad. Like, what is good announcing? Is there good announcing, Al? Like, what is good announcing?
I didn't think that Lita and Jim Ross did an awful job. I mean, I did hear that the first round, they had to redub it because something got fucked up with, like, the technical, like, whatevers, but,
Okay.
like, that's why it might have sounded awkward to some people, but you're right, like, I mean, it's not 98 Jim Ross anymore. Like, who's really spitting that fire on the mic these days?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys are this fucking stubborn and like weird and grumpy about announcing, just fucking put Japanese people talking over everything. Then if that's the only fucking announcing you can like, then just do that. Just fucking press Japanese people talking on YouTube and just make a fucking CD of it and put it over everything you watch. Because I don't understand, like, maybe it's not the best announcing, but there's really no good announcing if you think this is bad. There's no good announcing.
Well, also, they're kind of like pinned to a corner because they have to like fill these people in on like the backstories of these wrestlers, etc. They can't just like call it straight up, like play-by-play announce style. So yeah, I don't really know what you want. Complainers, email us. Let me know why it's so bad.
I know it's fucking like I really. This will probably just unravel during the rest of the show, but I've really I don't know. I've just really gained some theories and everything about the internet and the way people use it over since the last episode. And this is just one of these things that's been bugging me is like people just need their voices heard for some reason. And it's like, it's all toilet talk. All you people do is blah, blah, blah. And you should just be flushed down the fucking toilet because like you have nothing. Just think about it. If you're not telling, like, I've said this a million times on the show, if you're not telling a fucking joke on Twitter, I don't want to fucking hear it. You know what else I don't want to hear? When people make tweets and it's just like, blah, 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 something important, and then they put thread as if they're going to add more. Go write in your fucking live journal. It's fucking Twitter. Write one tweet, one joke, one tweet. That's it. That's all I want to hear. I don't want a fucking 75-page thing of your fucking crying. You have other outlets for that. You have fucking Facebook. You have Instagram. Do it somewhere else, not on Twitter. But yeah, the only other thing I had was, wait, where'd it go? So as we've mentioned a couple times on this show, me and Al have been dabbling about, and wondering just how people go about sponsoring indie wrestling matches. And, so if you guys if you're new listeners and you haven't been paying attention, first we wondered, we're like, how does that work? And then like some people clued us in. And then we were like, we would never do that. We would only do that if we could sponsor it and it would say Al and Mike Present and not Virtual Pros, but just Al and Mike Present. So I had a new idea, Al. I want to present it to you. I want to bring this one step further. I say we sponsor a wrestling match, but the stipulation is either the two wrestlers in the match have to be named Al and Mike, or it has to be a tag team where the two wrestlers are named Al and Mike. So wrestlers out there, if you have the names Al and Mike, you want to be sponsored to be on a match somewhere on some fucking bullshit card somewhere, let us know. We'll sponsor you. It'll be Al and Mike Present Al and Mike the wrestlers, and it's going to be the greatest match in the history of independent wrestling.
Yo, Al Snow and Michael Elgin, if you're listening, we will throw that money at you if you guys do this. No fucking problem. I'll wear a collar XL tee if you guys do it. Oh my God, Mike. We should really put, new Patreon goal. Get Al Snow and Michael Elgin to tag.
I think he's eliminated though because he runs a promotion where he has people sponsor his matches. This is how I found out about it. So I don't think I think we'd have to find it. There's more Michaels out there. Michael is a more common name than Al, I think. So that's what we'd have to worry about. I don't know if Al Snow's still putting on the boots, but maybe.
He should for this, man. It'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Up next, 3 things we like about the WWE. Both these guys send their posy vibes to the house that Vince built. Please stay tuned.
Okay, we're back here on Virtual Pros episode 49. Getting close to that 50. Gonna have to think of something crazy to do for 50. But until then, this is our main segment. We're going to be talking about three things we actually like about the WWE. I came up with this segment for two reasons. One, I think it's very easy to talk about all the things it's very easy for everybody to talk about things they don't like about WWE because there's so many of them. And, often I'm sitting there going, why the fuck am I watching this? I don't think there's anything I like about this, but it's just like ingrained in me to watch it. And so I was like, maybe this will be a cool exercise to make me appreciate it more. Probably not, but we'll see. And number two is because we're on this Bloody Disgusting network and we're kind of like the underdogs. We don't, this isn't a fucking horror podcast and they're a horror network. And, this is kind of just to see fucking with the algorithm to see like if we put WWE in the description. Cause we're only on the Bloody Disgusting front page for like 4 minutes. So like, I don't think we're not getting any new hits anymore. Like they're not putting commercials. They're not making fucking Virtual Pros commercials on the Bloody Disgusting network. So I'm like, what is a subject I wouldn't mind talking about that has to do with WWE? So we could put WWE in the algorithm. So sorry that this is all marketing hoopla. But like.
Fucking plotting, Mike. I had a feeling. It's fine.
I just, I want to see if the hits go up. If they don't, we'll probably never talk about WWE again. So
it's I don't talk from here on out. If like the hits don't change, we're talking about 93 FMW. No problem.
Yeah, we have one last gasp when October hits in a couple weeks because then we could probably work in horror in the algorithm and that might fucking do something, but we'll see until then. So I came up with three things I actually like about WWE. I refrained from NXT because I don't care what the haters say. I've always absolutely loved NXT, even a few months ago when they were going through a dark period where it didn't seem like they knew what they were doing. I still loved it. I'll always love NXT. I think it's amazing. They've never had one bad pay-per-view as far as I'm concerned. And everything they do is great. So I could shy away from that. I will also say I'll give an honorable mention because he's not a full-time member of the show anymore. But Vince McMahon, I always think is the number one performer in WWE. So, he's an honorable mention for me because I'm not gonna, cause like I said, he just happened to show up yesterday, but outside of that, it's been a minute. But, so the first thing.
What time to talk about it than now? Do you think that was a hard-way blade?
Dude. Okay. So if you guys didn't see this, I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast if you didn't see it, but yeah, Vince McMahon showed up to SmackDown the first time in 4 years, which was weird they would mention that. Like, should probably hide that on the rug that he doesn't even like SmackDown enough to show up on it. But anyways, so yeah, him and Kevin Owens have this conversation. Kevin Owens headbutts him and he starts bleeding from his fucking head. So I was watching this. I was watching it on my phone, through streaming. And so yeah, Kevin Owens headbutts him. And like before Vince McMahon hits the floor, he's bleeding like in like one dot on his fucking head. And I'm like, no fucking way can this be real. And I rewound it and watched it again. And I was just like, I don't know. Like I texted all my fucking wrestling buddies and I was like, was that real? No one gave me an answer. This morning on Twitter, somebody posted like a super slow motion video of it, like the Zapruder film. And it's just like, it's a legit headbutt. He fucking headbutts the shit out of Vince McMahon. And I'm just like, I'm baffled. Like, is it like, I mean, it has to be real, but I guess they could maybe have some prosthetics under his skin or something, but that just seems too ridiculous. Like, I'm thinking it's real, but he like planned it. Like, he maybe ate a bunch of aspirin beforehand. He maybe like fucking rubbed his head a little, like fucking got it real raw or something. I don't know, but like, it was definitely like, it was believable, that's for sure. What do you think, though?
He for sure took that shit. Like, he took a shoot headbutt. Like, he asked Shawn Michaels to super kick him as, like, hard as he physically could, like, on one clip.
Well, okay. Like, I think we can both agree.
He's down for getting, like, fucked up.
We can both agree he took a shoot headbutt. There's no denying that. Yeah. But do you think he meant to bleed? Like, do you think the bleeding was a part of it? Like, do you think they went as far as putting, like, a blood capsule in his head, basically?
No. So, like, some guy in Deadspin was like, yo, it's prosthetic. Like, they fucking did some makeup so you couldn't really see it. I don't think that happened. I do think it's, like, the cherry on the top. I think that's what they were going for. Like, you can't really, like, plan on, like,
The blood is like so
Opening up
centered, like
that?
but it's like so, it's kind of like if you hit like a really bad pimple or a scab or something, because it's like so centered in his head. So that's why I could think as a prosthetic, but at the same time, it's fucking, we live in the times of HD. Like, you would be able to see right through that. It would have to be the best makeup job. So yeah, this is gonna be life's mystery until, forever. This is way more interesting than anything we have to talk about.
Shoot piss or shoot blood. You got another one, dude.
Vince McMahon, yeah. Vince McMahon is the king of who knows. Shoot pee, shoot blood. We'll never know. These are things he'll take to his fucking grave. That is why he's the best entertainer in the history of WWE. Anyways, my actual, first one is the most obvious one, and probably the one that Al might have, is, WWE's production packages are number one, top notch. No one's ever going to beat them. Not so much their actual production anymore, because they do that shaky camera shit and stuff like that. That's real bad. But when they want to hype up a match and they give time, like for those like WrestleMania, like pre-match packages and any big pay-per-view pre-match packages, they're so fucking good at it. Like, I don't know if they have like, what are those fucking things called? Not a lookbook, but a different kind of book. I don't know why it's eluding me. But anyways, I don't know if, style book. I don't know if they have like some kind of style book where it's just like, they have everything written down so they know exactly what to do, but they're just so fucking good at that shit, and there will be no one in the history of time to ever beat them at that. I mean, like, they could compete with any type of like grade A television show or like anything when it comes to like promo packages.
Oh, I fully agree. I didn't put this down, but like, they can make like a snail's race interesting.
Yeah.
They're so fucking good at it. Like, the one that's like been my favorite, like in recent memory, is the Miz Hate Me Now package.
Oh yeah, that is like all time.
Incredible. So good.
Yeah, that's like all time, like probably top 3 of all time promo packages they've done.
Sorry to go back to the Vince McMahon thing. Cheap Pop, if you're listening, you gotta do a shirt like that Shibata shirt you made, but with Vince McMahon, like, eyes and blading. I'd buy it. My first one, the first thing I like about WWE, is their social media presence, specifically YouTube. Full disclosure, I haven't watched a full episode of Raw in a while, but I feel like I'm still pretty looped in because of like how they handle their YouTube channel. Like, their match clips and their post-match interviews are uploaded like pretty quickly, like after it happens. So like, I respect the turnaround time. And, they also do some pretty cool things with their channel every now and then. Like, they used to do a show called WWE Warehouse where like Joey Styles would follow around some dude and they'd show like weird shit like, that SmackDown fist from the set from back in the day, or like, Undertaker's assortment of caskets. I love shit like that. Lastly, Kathy Kelly's always on there, and, I see you. So this is one of my favorite things that WWE does.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, because it's like, if you miss Raw or SmackDown now, they'll have all the highlights in YouTube form. And that's why when there's still people who think that ratings matter, and they matter as far as the WWE making money. That doesn't make me money. I don't give a fuck if WWE makes money. But as far as like ratings really mattering, they really don't. Like, because people can keep up with WWE without ever turning on their television now. And that's all because of their YouTube and their social media presence. It does get annoying at sometimes, but so does everything they do. So, yeah, I mean, I'm totally on board with that. My next one is something that me and Al actually shit on a lot, but I do appreciate. And it is, WWE's merch game. I don't think, if you're just like a casual fan, you might not understand the scope of WWE's merch, but just browse around WWE shop one day. You'll see items you never knew existed. Like, they sell so much fucking shit. And like, if I was a kid right now, that would be my fucking dream. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like getting the WWE catalogs from the magazine and just being like astonished by the things they had back then. And literally, like, back then they'd have like maybe 50 things. I think that's being very generous. It's probably way less than 50. And yeah, now it's just like, there's everything under the sun for like every single wrestler, every single popular wrestler that you can imagine. They have so much shit, and it's cool. And I'm not even getting into the fucking dolls. Like, they make dolls for everything now. That is, like, I don't collect dolls, but it is insane to me. Like, anytime I see stuff like, the thrift store jobber, he has like a doll set that's like Papa Shango and Ultimate Warrior from like, you know, when he made Ultimate Warrior's head bleed green. And I think that's like amazing. They always they always release shit like that, and I'm just always amazed by it. So like, yeah, if I was a kid right now, and like as big of a wrestling fan as I was when I was a kid, I would be in fucking heaven with all the shit they release. Now I'm an old grumpy adult, so I think it's corny. Like most of this shit's corny, but I will give them all the credit in the world for how much they oversaturate with all the merch they're willing to make.
Dude, so I was cleaning my room the other day, and I was folding shirts, and I reach into it, and guess what I pull out? A fucking Roman Reigns vest. Like, they make shit like that. And I really don't know what to do with it. I might give it away. I might keep it. I'm not sure. Maybe episode 50. There might be a big plan for this Roman Reigns vest. Actually, pretty similar to yours. I kind of like their recent attempt to make wrestling cool. To preface this though, like, I know a lot of people are like rolling their fucking eyes at this because like there's some stuff that's like pretty inexcusable, right? Like Flo Rida, he is not tight. But there are things that they do that make me think they're like closer to the pulse like than they've ever been. And like as an example, I think like with their merch, like they're really starting to dig into their archives to make shit that like doesn't necessarily appeal to me or like other hardcore fans. But like their chalkline jackets and like making shirts like exclusively for Urban Outfitters, like it's not for me, but like I don't think in their history like they've ever tried to make merchandise for people that don't fuck with wrestling. But like here we are, and I think it's kind of rad. They're like trying to, reach people that don't necessarily like care about ratings or fucking fan attendance. Like their Puma collabs, like for the most part, like they're not good. Like it's something I never buy, but like there's at least an attempt. Like, when they dropped those Wolfpack tees, like for sale immediately after Kendall Jenner rocks went on the runway, like I kind of think there's like people there, like in the building that are in the loop. And, I think it's kind of rad, like having Shane McMahon on Complex, like shopping for sneakers, etc. Like, I don't mind the effort.
Yeah, I kind of flip flop on this back and forth because, I mean, like the Puma stuff it's one thing. It's like, I understand what they're trying to go for, but there's no one on earth buying Pumas for $200. Like fucking no one. There's no one ever buying Pumas for $200. So making Pumas that are basically regular Pumas, with very slight variations and charging 100% more than Pumas cost is like really ridiculous. So it's like they're just there, but they're not quite there. Another thing that bothers me is like all of my life, probably since I was a teenager, I've been like, if only WWE announcing could like maybe pick up the references to be one with like current pop culture and not make references that are like 3 years old. And now they're kind of there, but it's super cringy. Like everything Mauro Ranallo says that like has to do with rap music is super fucking cringy, and I hate it. But it's like it's all I've ever asked for, and now I feel like a dick for asking for it because now I just want to go back to like the days of fucking Bobby Heenan or the days of Jerry Lawler talking about fucking shit that no one knows about from 20 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. That Morinal is something else.
Okay, so my last one is something that like this was the last one it took me a while to come up with this, and I was like, man, I can't believe I can't even think of a third thing. And then I came up with it, and I'm just like, man, WWE actually doesn't get enough credit for this. And that is, they are the kings. There is no one that will ever beat them at this. And again, you could combine every single wrestling promotion that ever was and put them against WWE in this one category, and WWE will always win no matter what. And that is coming up with fucking gimmick matches. WWE is the king of gimmick matches, even if they fucking turn out stupid, like that House of Horrors match, which was dumb as hell. That was one of the worst things they've ever done. Or their fake final deletion with the Wyatts and the New Day. Even like the failures, they're interesting. They're never as groan-worthy as like the shit that TNA does, or the shit that WCW did, or the shit that they do on the indies. The Royal Rumble is one of the greatest ideas of all time. The King of the Ring was fucking amazing. Survivor Series, which they don't really do anymore. The Money in the Bank, I still think is one of the great, like the most brilliant ideas they've ever had. Which is kind of dumb, and I could see hating on it, but the Beat the Clock challenge they used to do on Raw for like number one contender, it's kind of a dumb, real dumb logistically, but, yeah, dude, like there's never a thing. I think Pujambi Prison is like the only thing that WWE's done where I'm just like, come on, man. Like everything else, I'm always like in the stairs match when they did the fucking stairs match. But again, it produced that graphic that I use like once a month. So I can't even hate on the stairs match, but yeah, man, they are batting almost 1,000 when it comes to coming up with gimmick matches, and I will always give them credit for that, and no one can touch them when it comes to that.
You really fuck with the Elimination Chamber?
Not as much when it started and they did like the fucking like the evil hardcore Elimination Chamber where it had like weapons and shit in it. It was kind of cool. Now it's kind of like whatever. Like I think it's a little outdated and they should stop doing it, which I don't think they do. I think they did it last year maybe or a year before, but I don't think they do it as often. They include in the fucking video game all the time for some reason, but yeah, I think they should have stopped that one. That should be like a special occasion and not just a yearly pay-per-view, that's for sure.
I'm with you though. Fucking Hell in a Cell's tight.
Yeah.
Shark Cage is tight. I love all that stuff. It's fine. The last one that I had was WWE using tournaments as storytelling devices. I can't think of like a modern tournament that has sucked. Like the one where Roman like finally wins the title and then he gets cashed in on by Sheamus. Like it led to two of my favorite like moments in recent memory. One being that camera shot of Roman, like crying and looking into space while confetti's falling on him. That shit's so fucking funny. And, Sheamus's Austin 316 t-shirt flip, where it says, Sheamus 515 on the front. And, on the back it says, I just bro kicked your arse. Like, that shit is fucking sick. Like, why did I sleep on that t-shirt? I don't know. Listeners, if you got a medium in that shirt, dead stock, hit me up. I'll cash you out. But, like, that tournament was super good. Like, the Cruiserweight Classic, I don't think gets its props. That was like one of the best like wrestling tournaments of all time. Like with what they had to like, they couldn't have people that didn't sign win, but they went and got fucking Kota Ibushi to wrestle at Full Sail. Like how bonkers is that? Like this recent Mae Young tournament's great. This might be the only thing like they're foolproof at is like how they book tournaments. It's great.
Yeah, I will say that the first NXT Tag Team Tournament was great. The second one wasn't as great, but it was still pretty good. I will say I definitely agree. And I will say the one thing that I hated about the Attitude Era the most was, fucking Vince Russo just ruining the King of the Ring and making it like, it wasn't even a pay-per-view anymore. It was like the King of the Ring pay-per-view was only the finals of the King of the Ring. And the rest of the tournament matches were like 2-minute matches on Raw. And it was like, that was like the one thing I was like, man, fuck this guy. But outside of that, yeah, I totally agree with you. It seems they've been picking up on doing the tournaments because there was a long time where they didn't really fuck with tournaments. And I'm glad they're bringing them back. And even the UK tournament was great too.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully they keep it up. I don't know if they're going to keep it up with like another Mae Young or another Cruiserweight. I'm sure they're going to do the NXT tag. I mean, I guess I'm pretty sure they said that the NXT women's belt is going to be another tournament actually. So there's that.
Looking forward to it. They're super good at it.
Yeah.
Up next, the mixtape with Shayna Baeszler, Brian Cage, Iron Fist, Clive Myers, and Mandy Leon. Hello. Please stay tuned.
The Rolex, you niggas gave me slow neck. I pull up in the Benz, now daddy, this ain't no Lex. You so stressed and so pressed, got no hoes, get no sex. Not me, baby, I'm swagged up with Moet. I'm bossed up, shorty, flossed up, shorty. You gon' need Jesus if you cross up, shorty. Big money in the building, it's a bossed up party. Whole team winning, it's the start up, shorty. We stay raw, they stay flaw. Them niggas think they can't fall, they hate hard. These niggas think that they gone, but they ain't on. We in the game and play small, them brave hearts, you heard me. Niggas that all want me, no deserve me. When I wasn't up, they used to curve me. Now I'm balling up like Steph Curry. I got it falling out, they don't concern me. You heard me. I got ice around my neck and it's stunning. Diamonds on my wrist and it's funny.
Welcome back to Virtual Pros, episode 49. If you haven't already, follow us on our social media platforms. I'd really appreciate it. Up first, we have Brian Cage versus Katsuhiko Nakajima, Noah. Summer Navigation 7/27/2017. gonna come out pretty clean here. I got put onto Nakajima pretty late because I first saw him in the G1 2 years ago. But he left me with like a pretty good impression. Kind of similar with Brian Cage too. I'm only really familiar with him from his work in Evolve. Most notably when he threw Darby Allin into the Abyss. That was fucking nuts. A fun Matt Hardy V1 fact about Nakajima. Apparently he was trained by the real #goals couple of professional wrestling, Kensuke Sasaki and Akira Hokuto. And also apparently he still might be living with them as a 30-something.
Shut the fuck up. What's the origin behind this?
The internet, man. I guess he's like adopted somehow. Like, I don't know, dude. I read he still lives with them. It's kind of remarkable. I hope that's a true story. That could be a lie. That could be a DVD-VR, like urban myth, but, in my head, I still imagine the Noah champion just fucking sleeping like in his twin bed. I thought this match for the most part was like pretty fucking bananas. Because I've never really seen like a PWG, like US indie style match take place in like the super sacred grounds of Japan. So to see Nakajima like pull out a fucking Canadian destroyer or eat like a deadlift Steiner screwdriver out of nowhere and kick out at 2, that was fucking something. I do think Brian Cage is cool. I do love his taunt where like he pretends to ash a cigarette on his opponent's back, but he's kind of like Diet Michael Elgin to me. Like they kind of fill the same space of like huge strong boys, like who just have like all their special moves as their offense, but I just like Elgin a little more. Like it's probably just opponent matchups, like Elgin gets to wrestle like Okada and shit. But for the time being, I like Elgin a little more. But like I said, this match is a little over 20 minutes, but it's fucking wild because they're just throwing bombs at each other like the entire time. It's worth it for the bombs. It's a pretty strong recommendation from me. What'd you think, Mike?
Okay, so first off, before I forget, because I know we're getting all these new listeners from this WWE algorithm, if you guys don't know, this is the segment where we review these, we talk about these matches. You can find them on our YouTube. Just search Virtual Pros Mixtape on YouTube or just go to /VRTL Pro, Virtual Pros on YouTube and you'll find this mixtape so you could watch along at home. So yeah, full disclosure. I've said a million times on this show, I usually watch these matches, hours before we record, and I usually smoke a little weed so I could, expand my mind and come up with dumb shit to talk about. I'm trying not to smoke weed lately, so, that proved for a bad idea because I didn't have a lot to talk about for most of these matches. I will say, it's a real sparse. It seemed to fill up, but at first it seemed to be like a real sparse crowd for this. There was a lot of empty seats.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about modern Noah, but I guess that's a normal thing. This took place, July 27th of this year. I knew he wasn't going to win. Brian Cage wasn't going to win because, Eddie, my favorite wrestler, just became the first white man to ever win the Noah championship, which is crazy that he never had a white guy win it before. I was, real surprised about that, but, I don't know if that's like, I don't know the politics of Noah, so I don't know, if that's a good thing or it's a real bad thing that Eddie Edwards won their title, but I did find it very odd. I like their green canvas. I think their green canvas looks cool.
Me too. I love that shit.
I don't know if that like throws the wrestlers off though, cause it probably looks weird. And always like, when you see shit that's different colored in the corner of your eye, it fucks you up. At least me. I will say that Canadian Destroyer in this match, I am obviously on the record as being a 100,000,000% Canadian Destroyer hater. That was a pretty fucking cool Canadian Destroyer. It was like some like fucking weird pile driver reversal into a Canadian Destroyer. And it was real fucking cool. It might have been the coolest Canadian Destroyer I've ever seen. And, it's only accentuated by the announcer going, Canadian Destroyer! So, at least check that part out if you don't have time for the rest of this. There's also a part where Cage no-sells a top rope brainbuster. He didn't get any shit for that. Fucking Leo Rush is all over the fucking place for 2 weeks. This guy gets shit for no-selling this ladder match thing. But yeah, since it happened in Noah, no one cares that Cage no-sold this. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I like this match as much as Al. I think I'm a little slightly more used to this style. And I will say, like, a lot of the near falls just, oh god, I sound like such a fucking nerd.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, I think it was just because I knew who was going to win anyways, but I didn't really believe a lot of the near falls. It seems like, I never get this fucking detailed about wrestling, but it just seems like Nakajima just doesn't have, at least to me, he doesn't have the fighting spirit as maybe a Kenta or like that type of Noah guy that I'm more used to that seems to sell a little more with his face and his facials and shit. Nakajima just seems like kind of like he doesn't give a shit. I'll give it to Cage though. There's a near fall where Nakajima kicks out and Cage just goes, fuck! And I thought that was pretty sweet. Also, Cage had like, he must have just got his haircut like hours before this match because his haircut was like so tight. But, yeah, I mean, watch this. Like, you know, I'm cool with watching these Noah matches if they're all on this level, but I have a feeling they're not. I will say, I started it because Al put on like the whole fucking video of the whole goddamn card on here, and the promo before this starts is with two Japanese guys I'm not familiar with, and they're the sweatiest men I've ever seen in my life. They're so sweaty. It was super gross. Okay, anyways, my first match of the night was, hold on a second. My first match of the night was Kendo Nagasaki, versus a man by the name of Iron Fist, Clive Myers. This was recommended by a listener, and I made a note to actually not forget his fucking name this time, and I think I did anyways. Where is it? Hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna remember it. His name is, it's not Ed. Elwood recommended this. And so this is a ladder match. I didn't take down the date, but this is from World of Sport. So I think this is like the late 70s, early 80s. I did not know ladder matches took place back then, so I was fucking just flabbergasted at just the idea of a ladder match. If you guys aren't familiar, like none of us are, Iron Fist Clive Myers is a black man. I don't know his background outside of being a black man named Iron Fist Clive Myers, which is a great name. Kendo Nagasaki is playing a Japanese man. He's the least believable Japanese man of all time. He's wearing a mask. He's wearing like a fencing mask. But, not only is he obviously white by his skin tone, but he has curly brown hair, unlike any Japanese man in the history of Japan. But he has, I mean, El Samurai had curly hair. I never believed he was Japanese either. I mean, I know he was, but yeah, he's a very unbelievable, but no one knew what a Japanese person looked like in 1979. So yeah, anyways, this is a ladder match.
I don't have it in my notes, but this is an actual white man. The first Kendo Nagasaki is actually white.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's definitely a white man. But yeah, so this is a ladder match, and instead of a belt or anything, a contract, there's a gold record, like a gold LP record, that's just spray painted. It might not even be spray painted. It might be like legit be made out of construction paper or something. It is like some weird shit. So this match starts, and it must be around Christmas or something, because there's a lot of Christmas decorations hanging around this very odd venue. And then music starts. First, it's like very like orchestral, like kind of Christmassy music. And it's kind of like that Kana match we reviewed years and years ago on the show. So there's music going on, but there's also lights that are kind of doing like a light show while these guys wrestle. And it is the most fucking bizarre thing I've ever seen happen, at wrestling ever. Even more bizarre than that Kana match. Cause that was just kind of like chill. But this is like real sensory overload. Like, it made me think like maybe we should do a segment. I don't think this would be a great segment, but maybe we should do a segment like three wrestling events we wish we were at. Cause like, I think this would be in my top 3. Cause I just want to know what the vibe was of this fucking place. Cause it's just this weird British wrestling, this very dry British announcer. Like there's a part where they fight outside of the ring and the British announcer is just like, this is what they do in America. These are how they wrestle in America. They fight outside the ring as much as they do inside the ring. And it's just like, okay, dude. And it made me think, is this match making fun of Americans? Is it making fun of the American style of wrestling? Cause it's like a weird ladder match where they have stupid rules, but I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know the background of this match. And yeah, I mean, this is just, wrestling wise, it's a pretty boring match. It's guys just punching and kicking each other. It's not anything out of the blue. And it has, the most anticlimactic ladder win of all time. It's literally just a dude climbing up the ladder and grabbing the thing. Like, there's no struggle. Like, he just, like, it's like if a ladder match was realistic, basically, which they've spent decades, perfecting to make it the most unrealistic thing, ever, but if, for all those people that ever watch a ladder match and say dumb shit like, why does he just run up the ladder? Why does he just fucking grab it? Just watch this match, because that's what happens. That's exactly what happens, and it sucks, because you're just like, so that's how it's done. But as far as like just bizarre shit, if you've never seen this, definitely watch this. It's not long. It's fucking so bizarre. What did you think, Al?
So I was like actually pretty bummed out by the YouTube comment section, because I fully expected some dork to be like, as an expert of Japan, actual kendo is practiced with a bamboo sword and not a real sword. But that didn't happen, so I was kind of bummed out. Apparently they're trying to obtain a spray painted record that's dangling above the ring, like Mike said. Mike, do you still have any Grail records in 2017, or are you done with record collecting?
The only record that I'd be willing to drop any amount of money on at right now is by a group named the Silvers. Their second record, which is just called 2. So if anybody out there has the Silvers 2, let's talk. But outside of that, I think I'm pretty done.
I'm pretty done too, but if someone has a good copy of Regulate G-Funk Era or 2001, let me know. I'll buy it off you. So I do like the stipulation of this match, along with it being a ladder match. It's American rules, which it just means you can fight however the fuck you want. Like, you're a dirty piece of shit. Like, if you fight outside, it's okay. That's what American people do. They fight outside. My last note, or second to last note, listeners from the UK, why do your ladders look so weird? They look like they're made out of popsicle sticks. Also, why aren't there rungs on both sides of the ladder? Is there something like we as dirty Americans don't really know about when it comes to ladder construction? I was kind of confused. This match is like whatever, but like the first bump that Iron Fist takes off the ladder is pretty great. If only because like he like for real loses his balance and he like eats real hard shit. He takes a really good bump. Other than that, yeah, this match is really bizarre to watch. If only for the music selection, and the building looks really weird too. It looked like a movie or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
My last match of the night, Shayna Baeszler versus Mae Young, AIW Girls Night Out 17, 5/30/2016. I picked this match blindly. I don't think we've covered AIW before, but it's Mae Young season, so here we are. I think this is Shayna's debut in AIW. So I'm not sure how heckle heavy the AIW crowds are without friend of the show Welf in attendance. But someone in the audience heckles Shayna about Ronda Rousey, catching those L's in the beginning. And you can kind of tell that it made Shayna pretty pissed off. Throughout the match, she's like kind of jawing with this dude about it. So that was interesting to watch. There's a part of the match where, Mae Young, she goes to headbutt Shayna, but only her ponytail hits her. Shayna still sells it though, which, makes me want to ask a move truth or talk to the workers of the show. How do you decide when to sell something that obviously hasn't connected? Is it just like a gut feeling thing? Or is there like some hard, fast rule about it? Workers, if you want to like reveal your magic tricks, email me, virtualpros64@gmail.com. This match was a match. For someone that's new to the game, like Shayna was like pretty serviceable. I think you can describe Mae Young here as a solid hand. It wasn't bad. Mike, what'd you think?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. This is I think this is the first AIW match. But to be fair, you know, I conversate with the AIW people on a pretty regular basis. So I don't feel bad in saying this, but they do put a lot of matches on YouTube just to get the fucking perverts out there to click, because that's what makes the most money. I understand that. So they, you know, outside of the lady matches, they don't really put like real quality shit that I ever want to talk about on the show. But yeah, this is Shayna's first match in AIW, and it is her, spoiler alert, is her only loss in AIW to this day. She's still the AIW Women's Wrestling Champion. Yeah, so this was in 2016, and it took place at Girls Night Out, which is AIW. They'll do all women's cards every once in a while, and that kind of bummed me out because the old thrift store jobber does not go to the all women's cards because he's afraid, and he's afraid of. He's just kind of afraid of the clientele that he'll see at these all women's cards. So he doesn't go. I mean, I kind of don't blame him in a way, but I mean, I think I would go if I lived there. I don't live there though. I don't think I would travel out to one, but yeah, anyway, so he wasn't in the crowd. And I will say the first AIW show I went to, which was last September, it's the year anniversary. Shayna Baeszler was basically the main event versus Heidi Lovelace. Heidi Lovelace was the champion at the time, and Shayna Baeszler beat her. And just seeing, like, for whatever reason, we all just decided to cheer for Shayna Baeszler, and you could see it like on her face when we cheered for her. Like when she came out, she was like genuinely like pumped about it, and it was pretty cool. And ever since then, like, she was like very impressive, and I was like, oh, she's gonna be like a huge star someday. And here we are. She's in the finals of this WWE tournament. Here she's pretty new to wrestling. But she's still pretty good for being pretty new to it at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just kind of a match. It's not anything you really need to go out of your way to see. Unless you are a Shayna Baeszler completist or enthusiast and you want to see what it was like for her, like, very early matches that are actually on DVD that you could actually watch. But yeah, it's a decent match, but it's nothing special. What are you going to do? My last match is a very special match, though. So, my last match is Mandy Leon versus Taylor Hendricks from ROH sometime last year. This is maybe 2 years ago. I forgot to write it down. This is a no disqualification match, and it's 18 minutes long. And so I gotta give a long, very long explanation as to why I chose this match, because it's in multiple parts. The first reason is I chose it is because for once, usually when we do this, I'm usually the one who has their matches on the playlist first. This time Al beat me to it, and I'm a very thematic person where I want to like make up themes. So he picked the Shayna Baeszler match, and I was like, oh, I should do something that's like Mae Young specific also. And then I was like, no, fuck that. I know what I want to do. Cause like, while this Mae Young tournament's going on, there's the people who post GIFs on Twitter are posting, GIFs of Mandy Leon's current tour of Stardom. Look at Mandy Leon tearing up Stardom, and it's just her doing like the worst moves. I'm just like, yo, I gotta watch Stardom. Like, I keep forgetting to watch it because like this is just giving me endless entertainment, these GIFs. And unfortunately, her fucking barn burner match versus Io Shirai is not on YouTube. It's on Daily Motion if you want to watch it illegally. But I really suggest just subscribing to Stardom. It's fucking $7, and there's so much entertainment on there. So I'm not gonna upload it myself and be a scumbag. So then I was like, oh well, I'm really liking Kimberly and the Mae Young. So I know she's wrestled Mandy Leon, but all the matches on YouTube are like real bad, like handy cam quality. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking watch shit like this. So then I was like, okay, well, she has this 18-minute long match against Taylor Hendricks. Full disclosure, Al is usually the pervert on Instagram that likes all the women wrestler Instagrams and follows them. And, I never do that. Not because I'm not a pervert, but mostly because like I'm very naive and like aloof when it comes to stuff like that. And I never think in my stupid brain that is a thing that men do in 2017 where you're just like, I find that woman attractive. I could follow her Instagram. I never think of that for some reason. I don't know why. It's not because I admire their athleticism or anything like that. It's just because I'm a fucking idiot and I just don't think like that. But the one person I was like, oh, I could do that with Taylor Hendricks. I can follow her Instagram. And I followed it for like 2 days, and it was just like inspirational memes. And I felt so betrayed. I was like, Al always hits a jackpot all the time. He hits all these fucking babes all the time. They just want to show their butts. And the one woman that I'm just like, I just want to see her showing off her butt. It's just inspirational memes. So I was like, okay, so there's a theme going on here. And so the other reason I wanted to highlight this match is because when we first started the show and we got into my hang-ups about women's wrestling, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines that I said there's like a fine line between, liking women's wrestling and being a pervert. And now that I'm like a seasoned veteran of watching these women wrestling match, I think I'm completely wrong. I think there's a huge gap between basically I think there's a huge gap between saying you like women's wrestling for the athleticism and being like, hey, look at that coos. Like, there's like a huge gap between that. But the problem is, on the internet, like, where everybody shares like all of their thoughts, is that basically every person wants to see everything as black and white, and at the same time, simultaneously, they want to portray themselves as this delicate, unique flower that is so nuanced. And they want to act like extremely reactionary to everything. So they want to be like the first person to call you like a fucking sexist piece of shit for finding a woman attractive and not just admiring like a woman's wrestler for their athleticism. And personally, I think that's fucking bullshit. I find all types of women attractive, not just women who wrestle. Like, you know, there's women I work with that I think are attractive. Like, are you going to throw me in prison for that? I don't think so, because I'm a fucking human being, and you find other human beings attractive. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, with like wanting to watch a wrestling match because the women in it are fucking attractive. I don't want to fucking buy their underwear and sniff it. I just want to watch the fucking match because I think these girls are attractive, and I don't think there's anything fucking wrong with that. I don't think you should fucking hide that. I also don't think you should be a creep about it. But, you know, you can talk about it. You are a human being. So like the moral of this is just fucking live, man. Don't fucking categorize yourself and label yourself as a person. Don't feel the need to tell everybody, that is within earshot that you only watch women's wrestling for the athleticism and the amazing talent they bring, because you sound even more like a creep than the actual panty sniffers, because then you just sound like you're hiding the worst shit. So full disclosure, I picked this match because I think both these girls are super fucking hot and I want to watch it. And I was like, this is going to be a sexy time and I want to watch this match. And go fuck yourself if you have a fucking problem with that, because like, the fuck, man? Like, literally, like, Mandy Leon looks like a fucking sex doll. I don't think that's by accident. I don't think she woke up looking like it was just like, oh fuck, my body is super hot. I can't believe this happened to me. I hope everybody just recognizes my talent. It doesn't see my huge boobs. Like, I don't think there's any fucking doubt in Mandy Leon's mind what the fuck she looks like. So get off your fucking high horse, you assholes. Anyways, this match is actually more entertaining than I thought outside of the hotness. Cause like, full disclosure, I mean, it sucks is like I just said in the top of the show, I don't want to like call people out, on this podcast that could possibly listen to it or be like 1 degree separated, but Taylor Hendricks is so hot. Like, she is just like the number one for me. So I, you know, like, obviously I only chose this match for obvious reasons, but yeah, this is actually more entertaining than I thought it was. I will say, in the beginning of this match and throughout most other parts of this match, the crowd is very respectful and quiet. They're sitting on their hands, and it's kind of bizarre. Like, they're at ECW Arena. These guys must really hate women or something. Like, I don't fucking get it, man. It's not like this match isn't good. Like, these girls aren't Kairi Hojo and Io Shirai. That's for sure. But, I mean, like, they're still hitting each other with chairs and shit. And, they're at the ECW Arena, the hollowed ECW Arena. And it's just like, everybody's kind of quiet. And it's just like, I don't know. I guess they fucking hate women, but, it was weird. I will say, there's a part where they do the thing that sometimes they do in hardcore matches and death matches, where they do the sit down and slap each other. But, they do that, and they're like slapping each other's thighs, not like when you do a super kick slap each other's thighs, like they're purposely slapping each other's thighs. I don't know if that was supposed to be for sexy purposes, but that was a real weird move. Maybe if you're a woman, your thighs hurt more if they get slapped. Women out there, let us know. Is a thigh a sensitive part of your body? I don't know. But I don't know if that was on purpose or not. I did think it was funny that at one point, one of them, I think it was Taylor Hendricks, pulls out a ladder, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the crowd chants WLC, and I thought that was really funny. In an offensive way, of course. I'm offended. I am so offended by this. I can't believe they did that. These people are awful. They should lose their jobs over this. They're horrible people. But no, it was fucking really funny when they chanted WLC. That was real funny. Yeah, so, overall, this match is not the best wrestling match, but it is a sexy wrestling match, and it ends in a 69 position pin, and I'm all about it. And there's blood in it, which was, well, you think that was, again, much like Vince McMahon, I don't know if that was shoot blood or not. I think it was shoot blood, but I'm not positive about that. Either way, if you have 18 minutes to spare, and you want to see sexy girls rolling around, hitting each other with chairs and ladders and shit, I honestly think this is the best ROH is going to do with their women's division because they've been pushing it for like 10 to 12 years now, and it's not really gone anywhere. So yeah, this might be the pinnacle of their women's wrestling division so far. But I was entertained. What did you think, Al?
Mike, you said 3 stars, dude. You went 7. It's incredible. I mean, I can't match your effort here, but yeah, dude, you're right, man. Like, enjoying a women's wrestling ability and thinking that she's looking like a snack is not mutually. Like, you can think both things at the same time. It's fine. I don't think you're a creep if you do that. Io Shirai, come on, dude. Come on. You think those shorts are cut high for, like, you just, like, made a mistake at the fucking, like,
yeah,
tailor?
That's what I forgot to mention. Yeah. So yeah, I was wondering myself, I was like, why the fuck did Stardom want Mandy Leon to do a tour? And then, yeah, she's posting on her Twitter, when they're doing, their cheesecake photos for their fucking sexy magazine. And I was like, that's why they wanted her to tour Stardom. And so, yeah, fuck you if you think that's fucking weird for thinking a girl's hot. That's the only reason she's in Stardom right now.
They have a show called fucking Pajama Time!
Yeah,
Come on! Stop it. Anyway. The front row of this match, it's comprised literally of Bullet Club t-shirt wearers. Seat 1 through 13, all Bullet Club t-shirt wearers. And I've been kind of thinking about this for a while now. Do you think there's, tiers when it comes to, which Bullet Club tees, get the most respect? Do you think, some guys oh, you got the Halloween one? That's tight. But, if someone has, the Tamatonga one, they're like, oh, that shit sucks. Do you think, there are more respectable Bullet Club t-shirts than others? Is what I'm guessing at?
I do think there is. I think if you get one of the ones that are obviously from Japan, but now I think they've muddled that with this Hot Topic shit, so it's tough. I did think today $1 million idea that I'm going to spoil on this show is we should just start making Bullet Club shirts, but let's just make Macho Man Randy Savage. I would just say Macho Man Randy Savage, but it'd just be the Bullet Club logo. Well, we just do that all wrestlers, Hulk Hogan, and it'd just be a Bullet Club logo. And fucking Junkyard Dog, Bullet Club logo. And we'll just make 10 shirts like that. We'll probably sell 1 million shirts doing that.
Don't steal that idea. Please don't. That's a great idea. Mike, I think I have the answer already, but who do you think is more athletic? Mandy Leon or Taylor Hendricks?
Oh my god, man. Taylor Hendricks is the Carl Lewis of the Michael Jordan of athleticism as far as my fantasies go. So, she kind of dropped off the earth. She quit ROH and I don't even know she hopefully she just got a normal career and, whatever good for her. But yeah, man, she's everything for me.
I also have Taylor here. I bet she runs a pretty decent 40. I thought both teams played hard here, but the part where Mandy spits, I don't know if it's work blood or shoot blood, on Taylor Hendricks' chest, it kind of made me wonder, how many lonely dudes, after seeing this, they emailed, their custom video guy, and they're like, I need you to recreate this scene. So I typed that note out, and then, I logged on to Chrome Incognito, and I typed in female custom videos. And, man, do I fucking regret it, dude. Don't do that. It's not a fun read. Trust me. My last note is, this is kind of like the Broke Boy version of the Asuka and Nikki Cross brawl on NXT. Both teams played hard. It was a pretty sexy match. They did not toy around with the camera angles here. They knew what they were doing. It was cool. I wasn't mad at it. That was episode 49 of the Virtual Pros podcast. If you haven't already, hit us on Twitter and IG at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud. Hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Download that Be Disgusting app. Have that entire discography in the palm of your hands. And if you ever want to participate, if you ever want to talk about athleticism, if you ever want to ask me a question about women's wrestling, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. Mike, any last words?
Yes, it's okay to find the opposite sex sexy. Just don't be a creep about it.
Yeah, man, hugs feel good.